Energy. Karen asked me today, or this week, to come and give a little history about how did we get started. And we were sitting in breakfast yesterday, and we started doing the math, and we realized we've been doing this for 17 years. 17 years of giving back to retired players. Most of them have a significant need. And so, you know, that's just a great tribute to the organization. How did we get started? I was a CEO at a orthopedic practice one day in 2007, and I get my secretary calls me, and she said, "There's this guy named Ditka on the phone," and I'm thinking, certainly not Mike Ditka. Must be somebody from Allentown or somewhere, and I get on the phone, and he tells me he heard I did some work in the NFLPA, and he said, "I'd like you." This is Coach. He said, "I'd like to see if you have any interest in getting involved with the program I'm putting together." And I said, before I could finish, he said, "Of course, Coach, and, you know, when Coach asks you to do something, it's not really a question. It's more of a, because I didn't even get a chance to say yes, and it wasn't as though I could think about it. And I said, yes, Coach, and he's like, "Okay, well, here's what I want you to do." Very unlike Coach Ditka of having a plan before he even started the process. So then we got into the process. And the process was, it was very challenging because we had to go out and seek physicians who were willing to provide medical services. And when I say medical services, most of them are surgery. And you're going to provide a medical surgery for a player in the NFL. And as some of the guys said earlier today, you know, the general population's presumption is everybody's a millionaire. Like, guys need help. Like, they can go out and get their own surgery. So I went out into a group of doctors, and I was very, very fortunate. I came upon two groups in Texas, All-Star Orthopedics and TMI Sports Medicine. I had a group in Allentown, Pennsylvania, OAA Orthopedic Specialist, and I went down to this little one-man show down in Florida, in Trinity, Florida. It was interesting, Coastal Orthopedics. And so not only was Coach Ditka asking for me to create a process, but he didn't recognize what he was asking. It's not only the physicians, it's the facility, it's the implants that we're putting in athletes, it's the nurses, it's the anesthesiologists. So we had to create an entire surgical team, and he wanted one on the West Coast, one down south, one in Texas, one in Chicago. He wanted one in Chicago, and we did have a group in Chicago. And so what we do is we open ourselves up, and we try to promote what we do. And what we find is it's most challenging is it's not the player, the athlete that needs help. It's usually a teammate. And Karen would get a call from a teammate and say, "I'm calling, but I'm not calling for me. I'm calling for my teammate who's down on his luck, and he really needs help." And we would actually reach out to that athlete, and we would tell them, we're going to fly you from home. We're going to fly you to a physician. We're going to have that physician evaluate you. We're going to get an MRI, a CAT scan, an X-ray, whatever it is that you need. We're going to provide free surgery. We're going to provide a free implant. We're going to put you up in a hotel the night before and put you up in the hotel the night after. And these are the little things, and not so little, but these are the things we do for athletes with the NFL through the Gridiron Greats. And it's just been an honor and a pleasure to work with the hardworking people who have come through with that. So it's my pleasure to introduce one of those doctors who have never said no, one of those doctors who have always said, "Hey, just if you need somebody, call me, we'll make it happen." And one of those doctors is here tonight, and I'd like to introduce to him Dr. Pete Candelora. Thank you.
Thank you, Vinnie. Appreciate that greatly. And I don't know how you get around that tsunami known as Vince Papale or Sylvia Mackey and her mini-me that she's introduced tonight. It was an incredible crowd. I congratulate Karen for getting this program back together again. We were out of it for a couple of years due to COVID, but it is great to be back and be part of this family. And it truly is a Gridiron Great family. I'm an orthopedic surgeon, and at one point in time, well, not at one point in time, my whole life, when I was in high school, Vince Papali was one of my heroes, and all I ever wanted to do was shake his hand. I ended up taking his knees apart. And you saw the results, unfortunately. So I am an orthopedic surgeon. We're the people who put you back together again after you do silly things like play football, maybe baseball. And so what is the mission of the Gridiron Greats? The mission, simply put, is to help NFL players. And so that's what we were trying to do, as Vinnie was explaining. Why should we help these guys? Well, number one, they entertain us for a short period of time each year, and in the process, in performing feats of athleticism, get injured. 15% of NFL players are injured within the first 2 weeks of the opening camp. 9 in 10 players indicate they have sustained a major injury while playing. 1 in 5 have had more than one major injury. 44% of retirees have total joints. Thank you. More than that are told that they need total joints. Thank you again for your business. We try to partner with these people at Gridiron Greats to help out and bring health care to these people who need help. Vinnie did travel down to Tampa and help us put together a program to help out the players all over the country. We are capable of using telemedicine. We can use just telephones. We can fly them down to Tampa. I can call someone in different parts of the country. I can write prescriptions and get x-rays. I can do labs. So we're not contained to just Tampa. And we've used that, and I would tell you that it has worked well. Gridiron Greats has literally helped hundreds, if not thousands, of players across the NFL. Today, I'm pleased to introduce an incredible athlete, originally from Fort Pierce, Florida. Such a great athlete that they retired his number 20 shirt from Westwood High School. He became an icon at the University of Illinois as a number 12 defensive back. He was a 4-time All-Big Ten selection and a first-team All-American in his sophomore year. He was selected a 4th-round draft pick in the 1986 NFL Draft by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He was named to the Football Digest All-Rookie team that year. Unfortunately, injuries cut his career short, and by 1988, he had a dislocated elbow that finished the job. He had so many physical insults, he had to stop playing. It's an honor and a pleasure to be involved with this great person, a fantastic athlete, and a local humanitarian. I'd like to introduce Craig Swoope.
I'm not used to doing. I wasn't one of the superstars on the team, but I was one of the players. First of all, I'd like to thank the Gridiron Greats, the organization, for everything that they do and what they stand for. Karen White, I first met her yesterday, but I first talked to her about maybe, I think our history go back maybe 2008, 2009. That's how long she's been helping me out. Unfortunately, just like I said, I played for the University of Illinois, had some honors there, got drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and unfortunately, when I got in the league, Chicago had just won the Super Bowl. And that's when they had that mean defense. I can't remember what Buddy Ryan had it, but Mike Singletary led it. The great Mike Singletary, always respected him. Always respected the way they played, although they beat us. They played hard-nosed. They played like their Coach Dicker was, and it was hard-nosed football. Always remember the great Walter Payton. Every time you would tackle him, he was so nice. He would give you a hand up, and then the next play he would run over you again. But it was nice. If you wanted to play football, that was real football, I thought. It was so great that I got to make it there. As a little kid coming out of Fort Pierce, I come from a family of 11 kids. I've been the youngest boy out of 6 boys and 5 girls. Had dreams of playing football, but didn't know if I was going to make it. Always wanted to be Walter Payton, or I wanted to be Dick Buckus. And God rest his soul, I got to meet Mr. Buckus before. I always called him Mr. Buckus. Playing in Illinois, we got to meet him. He came out to the Rose Bowl when we played in the '84 Rose Bowl. But enough about me. I want to talk about the Gridiron Greats because they gave me my life back. I was at a place in my life that I was in a dark place. I was down. I was just like what one of the players that they talked about. Was scared to ask for help, didn't know who to turn to ask for help. We always had this thing that in football, no pain, no gain. You can make it, you can get through it. You're tough, toughen up, straighten up, get to it, and it's just all this thing about always doing it. And this point in my life, I've never been at a point where I couldn't. And it was such a bad place. I'd never been there. I had all kinds of thoughts, things running through your mind. I lost family members. I lost my mom. And just at a bad place. And someone, I remember Ryan McNeil gave me this number. He said, call the NFL Foundation. There's a foundation, Mike Dicker, the Gridiron Greats. Say, reach out to them. And I did, and I talked to Karen. Ever since I talked to Karen, my life changed. I couldn't believe it. I was like, I asked for this help. I finally got the nerve to build up. And I asked for this help, and they actually did it. And I'm like, I couldn't believe it. It was so amazing how they cared about me and what was going on in my life. And I tell you, I owe everything. I don't exaggerate. And I don't make this up. I don't know where I would be if it wasn't for the Gridiron Greats organization. I really don't. I come from a close-knit family. We all spread it out. I've lost siblings and parents. I was going through a lot. I've been through the Eisenhower Center at the University of Michigan. I've been through a lot, but just like I never in my life, and I think I'm part of one of the greatest organizations. It's a fraternity. When you played in the NFL, no matter how many years you play or who you play for, you may not be heard of, but you talk to another player, and it's that camaraderie. You feel like you're loved. You feel like somebody. And that's something I always tell people. That's the greatest thing I got out of playing in the NFL. I feel like I'm in the best fraternity in the world. It's a great knit. If all I got to say, I played 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, I played 3. And it's right there, and they accept you. And you just like, you just, that feeling, you're back in the locker room again. You're smelling the dirty, sweaty jerseys. And I love that. And I think, I kind of got off track, but the Gridiron Greats, they do a lot of great work for a lot of guys. I had some friends, and I told them about it. I said, man, Mike, I was just like you. I was afraid to ask someone for help. I was afraid. I just had that mentality or that macho image. I can do it. And sometimes we need a little help. We do. We all need a little help. And it's so great to have an organization like this. I got to meet some other people, a part of the Gridiron Greats down in Florida a couple of months ago at Audio Golf Club. Great people. Adios. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I got to meet some of the greatest people. Just so much. I got to meet the great hockey player, Chris Chiliot from Blackhawks. That was a great thing they had when you retire and you remember, and that was a great, I watched it, I got to learn about that. And I love the Chicago history being from Illinois. I love Mike Dicker, Dick Buckus, But just like I say, the Gridiron Greats does so many great things, and they're helping a lot of players who really need it. And they are players. I was one of those players. I won the Superstar. I wasn't making $1 million. But I played, and I was proud of that. It was a dream come true. And I was so thankful that they helped me, and they helped so many other wonderful players and wonderful people. We are good people. We are. And since then, I try to do better, and I try to pass it on by helping others because someone helped me. And my mom always taught, be thankful. And I'm so thankful. Karen, Dr. Candelora. I saw him yesterday, and I hugged him. I hadn't seen him in a while. Last time I saw him, I think it was at a tailgate at the Miami Dolphins and the Tampa Bay game. And when I saw him, we immediately hugged and cried because I hadn't seen him. And just how much he meant to my life. He gave me, he did my hips. I had back surgery, I had both hips totally replaced. And I can say I have my life back. I have my lovely wife now. She's over in the audience. And like the lady said, we have to get honor to our ladies. And she does stand up strong for me. She knows what I've been through. She accepts me who I am. She dealt with me. She helped me. And please, another thing, guys, get help. I think that's the best thing we have is to get help for us mentally, the mental challenges. I never thought as a black man, we always had that stigma in the neighborhood. Man, you crazy, you're not. I thought that's the best thing I could ever done when I talked to a psychologist and I got help. That's the best thing ever in my life. And she know what I was going through. And I left one time and had surgery in Florida, and I went back. But she know I went and I got counseling, and it helps. It works. And I don't care what anybody said, it works. It helps. Get counseling. Help people get to that place if you can, if you know someone. Please, it makes a difference. It saved my life and my kids, my grandkids, my wife, my brothers and sisters. They thank you all for giving them back their little brother because of the Gridiron Greats. Thank you. I owe you my life. Dr. Candelora. Dr. Candelora treated me so nice. Before my surgery, he introduced me to the other doctors. I was eating with the doctors, had the biggest room in the hospital. He just was so great. I mean, I couldn't believe it. Although I was getting rebuilt again, I was getting all this titanium, but they made me feel so great, and I felt like I belonged again. I felt like I was in the game of life again, and that's all that matters. I got back in the game of life. I'm going to try to be the best version, the best person I can be to give back, to help out. I've always told Karen and them, if anything I can do, if I could ever speak up about the Gridiron Greats, I'll gladly do so anywhere, anytime, because what they've done for me in my life and my family, I can never thank you all enough. And thank you all so much. Thank you all for inviting me. Love you all. Love football. Thank you so much.